Now, is there any kind of incentivization toward if you defeat a boss, would they give you anything in particular?
Well, as long, you know, bosses can still have items. If you're still missing an item in a dungeon, there's no reason not to go defeat the boss. We did go ahead and get started here. We found the book, it looks like, in Link's house. Now, the name of the game for Triforce Hunt really is chest density. You want to get as many checks done as you can as quickly as possible, because the more checks you can get done, the more chances you get at getting those 50 Triforce pieces. You need 40 to win, and there's one from
The uncle.
our uncle, and another one just outside. So double Triforce piece right off the bat.
Yeah, that's certainly not starting off with a weapon, which could be a slight concern for the runners. Now, this is the open format, so there's no being forced into doing the escape sequence.
Correct. So we will not have to go through there, but that does mean that the weapons that we need to get things done could be all over the place. Now, one thing that we know for sure is there are not 50 locations in the initially available locations. So you're going to have to pick up at least some equipment in order to find these Triforce pieces. So in all actuality, the way it ends up working out is because you have to have some stuff in the early game to actually get you to access the rest of the areas, it actually brings the value of the early sphere down a little bit in terms of Triforce pieces. We got one on the race game and one in the lumberjack hut, it looks like.
Well, hopefully they won't have to go and defeat Ognum to pick up that Triforce piece. I think going into the Lost Woods, like Roach 788 did, to just kind of find a random Triforce piece laying around, much more efficient.
Oh, how about a bow? That is a excellent pickup. And now we've got the book and the bow, so access to all of Eastern Palace and a decent portion of desert as well. Pretty interesting this early on. Hey, we've got a sword in the back of the tavern there.
Well, it looks like we've been given the bare minimum in Kakariko to start accessing other parts of the world. I think maybe a set of gloves is about all that would be on my immediate shopping list for, hey, give me access to everything now.
So we've got the Ether Medallion inside the Chicken Hut. And here in Blind's Hut, we've got 5 chests, silver arrows to go with that bow, a piece of heart, the Moon Pearl, and Triforce piece number 4 for Roach 788.
And now we'll see what's hiding in the back, aside from 30 rupees. Oh, Triforce piece number 5.
There we go. I'm going to go ahead and challenge every member of chat to try to remember where every single Triforce piece they see is. There will be a quiz. No, I'm kidding.
Well, knowing you and how copious you are with taking your notes, I think in about 10 minutes, if I ask you where the first 4 Triforce pieces are, you're just going to rattle them off like nothing.
I doubt that. So we've got a shield in the back of the well. We got a piece of heart up front, a full heart, 5 bomb upgrade, and bombos. So no Triforce, but things moving us toward some sort of progression. That bombos medallion could kind of point you in the direction of Ice Palace later on, even though you don't really want to go to Ice in Triforce Hunt because there's only 3 items in there, and it's kind of a pain.
Well, out of Desert Palace, Eastern Palace, and Tower of Hera, accessibility, we'll get to that part later. But between those three, is there any one you're kind of hoping to go, okay, I just want to go here because it has the most items available to you?
Yeah, so the Eastern Palace play is very is something you probably want to do in Triforce Hunt no matter what, because there's going to be at least 2 items in there, plus the 3 outside in Sahasrah's hut, so that's going to be pretty big. And then as far as Hera goes, if you can access Hera, by all means, because you've also got Death Mountain up there, which is just like, hello.
Yeah, that's gonna hopefully be a Triforce piece mine, as I believe there's 13 possible places for a Triforce piece to be in Death Mountain alone.
And that's just the light world. If you get access to the Dark World side, then you've got like 6 or 7 more.
Now that's very
and
true.
That's not even Turtle Rock.
Yeah. Well, with 2 of the medallions already found out, I think access to Turtle Rock, at least in the way of having the proper medallion, is, well, you got a better shot than not.
All right, so we've got some new information here. Roach and Chloe Pryor are both heading down to the South Shore area. I imagine we'll get a check of the dam and probably Mini Moldworm Cave. It would be potentially, you might see one of them go over to Desert and Agina's cave here. With the book in hand, that is a much more appealing proposition.
Now, do they need to have the Master Sword to be able to activate the Bombos tablet, or any of the tablets for that matter?
Yes, you are going to need the Master Sword in order to activate the tablets. You need the level 2 sword or better to activate the tablets in this mode.
So even though they would end up going toward Desert Palace, they would not be able to activate the Bombos tablet.
Right. The other reason you can't access the the Bombos tablet is because it's up on a ledge and you have to get there from the Dark World.
Oh, minor details. But here we go with Mini Moldworm Cave, and it looks like Roach is going to just use Bombos and make them disappear.
Yeah, Bombos strats are pretty good there. A slight nitpick I have, Ether would also work and is faster. 2 Triforce pieces so far, and that's going to do it for Mini Moldworm Cave, but certainly 2 Triforce pieces is definitely worth it.
Well, we don't want to overlook the full heart that got picked up. The bombs.
Yeah, we do need hearts.
Looks like Roach is headed east. Virtua Cat has taken the water out of the lake and is going to find bombs and go back to pick up the chest.
Yep. So that the dam area that we like to call it, there is usually you have to take 2 trips into that, unless you have either the mirror or the hook shot. You can do some tricks to get through there in one shot, pick up the chest and drain the water. We have blue mail over in Ice Rod Cave. That is going to make the rest of this journey a lot more palatable.
Yeah, that's definitely a fortunate find, is especially going into the Dark World when they get around to it. Take a lot less damage. And now I think it's the hunt is on, as the namesake of this particular race is the Triforce hunt. That is the objective. You can see in the top right of each runner's screen how far along they are getting to their objective. Roach is at 8 pieces of the 40 required. Chloe Prower and Spy Poet are also at 8 pieces of the 40 required. Virtua Cat a little bit behind with only having 6 pieces so far.
But there's a 7th for them in the first chest of Escape. We did find another Triforce piece. If you might have noticed, it was on the Lake Hylia Island. So you'd want to mirror there once you had the mirror and the flippers. There was not a Triforce, there was one Triforce piece in the back of Sahasrah's closet, as well as one inside the waterfall cave, which was sequence broken to by Chloe Prower.
Looks like Roach is going to be headed into Eastern Palace at this point. Spy Poet, I don't know if that was a unfortunate death or intentional. I only saw the red screen by the time I glanced over to see where Spy Poet was.
Yeah, it may have been unintentional, I think. Looks like Spy Poet is actually going to be setting up the Chris Houlihan room to try to get some extra money here.
Oh, would that give enough to head over to Zora and go into that particular domain?
Well, unfortunately, the Chris Houlihan room only has 225 rupees, and it does look like Spy Poet was actually unable to get the trick, but he should get it this time if he tries it again. If your camera is misaligned when you start doing the jumping into the water, it won't work.
Now, is there any particular visual cue that you get to know that you've made it into the Houlihan room, like Spy Poet has managed to do this time?
What you'll see is the bottom of the screen will keep creeping upward. So once you're in the right spot, it's like the bottom of the screen will be almost at the rock you're going to lift up here in a second. Now we did, it looks like, find a glove in Eastern Palace over in the map chest.
Yeah, it looks like we've found a glove so far. I don't think we've found any of the other actual items in Eastern Palace yet. And Virtua Cat actually taking a page out of your book, and it looked like they used Ether to clear out the mini Moldarm cave.
Yep, Ether strats, best strats in that cave. Right behind, and closely behind that are B strats. You get a bee in a bottle and you just unleash it. It's like we might have a little... there we go. Got it back.
Well, we have a map check on Spy Poet's screen. The red pendant is in Desert Palace, and Tower of Hera, along with Eastern Palace, are crystal dungeons.
Yep. So now the pendants and crystals will not be quite as relevant for Triforce Hunt usually, but it could come into play. The green pendant we found out was at Turtle Rock because Spy Poet just talked to Sahasrahla.
Ah. So we're not going to have an epic pedestal pull to get the 40th required Triforce piece?
You might. There's plenty of things that Turtle Rock doesn't require. Like the hook shot.
Yeah, but it does require the fire rod and the ice rod at minimum, along with a few other goodies.
You need the Cane of Samaria, and Hammer, and Titan's Mitts, and Moon Pearl, and I believe your Firstborn. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, with a laundry list that long, you may as well throw in a little extras.
So Roach was attempting to get through the back of Eastern Palace without the lamp. That is a very tricky dark room to do.
Well, it looks like Roach is just settling for the 3 chests
Oh,
inside.
we got
Hello.
Boots. And a flute. Boots, flute.
We have a lot of mobility on the map for Roach now that they've got the flute and the boots out of that. And
Yep.
it looks like we might have to stand at attention, salute, as it looks like Roach is about to play the Hylian national anthem.
Yep. I may have something prepared.
Uh-oh. At least one of us did our homework for this race. And it looks like we have a Triforce piece at the Bonk Rocks, so that puts Roach at the quarter pole of 10 of the 40 required Triforce pieces.
Yep. 25% of the way there. Now it's time for the Hyrulean national anthem. There's a triangle here and a triangle there. My God, there's triangles everywhere. But 40 is a ton. You get them and then you've won. Well, at least it is not 101.
Well done, sir. And for
All
Roach,
right.
the Mallard has been empowered, and looks like we're going to head over to the library to see what's in store for those of us who... Oh, and we have a bottle.
Yes, I remember seeing something like that. I thought it was a piece of heart when I saw it earlier, but yeah, it was a bottle with a B. So that's going to give us access to the sick kid.
Which is yet another check that we can cross off the list for Roach. It looks like if the sick kid delivers, that'll put him in the lead. Let's see what the sick kid has for us today.
Or maybe we'll see something else. Somebody's saying something about mitts.
Yeah, I had a little Mr. Destructoid action there. Caught a nice little piece of lag at the absolute worst time.
Very nice.
But if we have Titan's mitts, I think that opens up a good bit of the map now. Especially for Roach, who has the flute already.
Another Triforce piece from the old man. That is, of course, 11 for Roach. Chloe Prower has made it back past the Dark Room in Eastern, as has Virtua Cat. So we will be seeing some Armos kills here in a bit.
Now, is Spy Poet in that same Dark Room?
Oh, there's a hammer on top of Spectacle Rock. And a piece of heart inside.
Oh,
So it looks like the mirror is going to be required for the hammer.
Oh, so how many places would the hammer kind of block off if you just kind of went, all right, I'm not going to go through this?
There are quite a few places the hammer is blocking off, but with the Titan's mitts, you can get to the vast majority of the Dark World.
It's about the only one that I can think of off the absolute top of my head is Turtle Rock. Because, well, you need the hammer to hit the pegs in, or you're not going to be able to get there.
So, the hammer is required for Turtle Rock. It is required for the vast majority of Swamp Palace. It is required for quite a bit of Palace of Darkness. It is also required to reach Tower of Hera if you don't have the mirror. But you're going to have the mirror, or else you're not getting there. So we know that the mirror is not going to be locked behind any of those hammer things. And the hook shot will not give us access to Hera, but it will give us access to the east side of Death Mountain. There are also half of Ice Palace locked behind the hammer as well. Surprisingly, Misery Mire does not require it at all. The big chest of Thieves Town also requires the hammer.
Well, we have Chloe Prower and Virtua Cat both finding turbo mode, as they have both picked up their boots and a flute, while Roach picks up a swagnet in Thieves Town.
Yep. So Bugnet available in the Sea House over by Thieves Town, and now we're heading into Thieves Town proper. 4 items inside, all of which could be Triforce pieces. You never know. But first, we have to deal with some business items. We've got the map, which you have to have at some point. Might as well get it out of the way first.
Now, we're always going to be guaranteed to get the map, the compass, and a number of keys that I cannot exactly remember for this dungeon.
Thieves Town has just the one, as well as the big key. So there's 8 total locations, including the boss, and 4 items that aren't dungeon items.
Okay.
Yeah, I did say that there was about half of Ice Palace locked behind the hammer, and the boss is part of it.
Well, we've seen 2 items and 2 dungeon items, as Roach has found the burrito, the big key, a heart, and a Triforce piece so far in Thieves Town.
So the reason you need the hammer for the boss of Ice Palace is their hammer pegs right before you lift the rock to go down there.
Yeah, you can't really get around that without the hammer, but
sometimes you forget those exist. I've done it before. Been like, wait a minute.
I mean, would you actually go after the boss if you already collected all of the items in...
Not in
Ice
Triforce,
Palace,
I wouldn't.
Or, to be perfectly honest with you, kind of like, insert dungeon here. If you find all the items, are you going to really bother going through to the boss?
Turns out, that bee we got from the bottle? Turns out it was a good bee. Because Virtua Cat just got 100 rupees from the bottle merchant for that bee.
Oh, wow.
It's like the first person to pick up 40 of the 50 Triforce pieces that exist will win, and it will happen immediately. Like, you'll just go to the Triforce room.
And we have Spy Poet. Looks like the goose will be loose for Spy Poet here.
Yeah, and Chloe Prower simultaneously, basically.
So I believe it's just Virtua Cat that is yet to play the Hylian national anthem.
I'm not sure. Maybe he did. We'll see.
Well, if we see a duck come and pick Virtua Cat up, well, we know snuck one in on me.
So I think Virtua Cat was attempting to get lucky with the chess game there, try to actually farm money off of it. There was an older version of this where after you got the item, you were guaranteed to get 100 rupees every time you went into the chess game. That got patched out, but it used to be that way.
That seems like you would profit by doing that.
A little bit. Only costs 30 to play. Okay, so Chloe Prower is the first of our runners to delve into Desert Palace, picking up a shovel as well as a small key on the torch.
Looks like Roach is actually going to take on Blind. We'll see if Blind has the remaining item. I unfortunately lost track. I don't remember if it was 3 or 4 of the non-dungeon items.
Roach is taking a fall. Doesn't look like he picked up a fairy or anything to put in that bottle, so that will be the end of that. Looks like he's just going to leave that behind, which is a perfectly valid strategy in Triforce Hunt. The idea is just, that's one check. It's kind of a pain to get back there. There are other things to check. Get out.
Now, it looks like we're going to have the Blacksmith World Tour going on right now, and without a mirror, this is going to take a little bit more time than I think might want to be invested into this, but if it's the only good play you have, why not?
Yeah. I have seen the mirror at the blacksmith's way more times than I care to count. So, now one downside with this is he did go ahead and grab the smith before doing the digging game, so he's going to be unable to do that until he drops off the smith. Spy Poet is checking Agina's cave before heading into desert. And we've got a Master Sword.
It's like Chloe Prower is about ready to pick up that Master Sword following Spy Poet into Agina's cave.
But speaking of caves, we've got Hype Cave happening over on Roach's screen. Bombs. The Cane of Samaria, a piece of heart, a Triforce piece, and a big heart. So, that's a pretty useful hype cave. Cane of Samaria and Triforce piece.
I'll give it a 6 of 10, as Spy Poet is reading a lullaby for access into Desert Palace.
Don't forget, you have to actually hit the button to make the prayer scene go away. I forget this from time to time. All right, Roach 788 will now be heading to turn in that smith. We'll see what we find here. Chloe is going to go digging up the grove here with that shovel from Desert. Piece of heart and another sword on the smiths. That means if and when Chloe gets over there, we will have a vanilla sword.
Oh, it'll be a tempered sword at this point for Chloe, correct?
Correct.
Now, it looks like we're going to have Misery Meyer. Oh, Roach actually not checking the pendant. Oh, there we go.
So and it looks like Ether. So Roach is in an interesting situation. He's got the boots, which allows him access to Meyer, and he's got Ether. He doesn't have magic.
Minor details, but picking up that Triforce piece looks like it changed Roach's mind as to where they're going to head off to next. Looks like somewhere in Death Mountain.
Yeah, but Roach could have actually gone to clear, if he had magic to get in, he could go clear Misery Meyer in its entirety. You would have to do the dark room, though.
And to that, it looks like Roach
is missing fire. He can't do the left side.
Roach reading a very quick lullaby and moving on into Desert Palace. Virtua Cat finding a Triforce piece after defeating Blind and picking up our first crystal at 29 minutes and 40 seconds in.
So Roach is going to miss out on that Triforce piece for now. If he decides to go back to kill Blind, that could be a thing, but it's a long way back there.
It looks like 2 Triforce pieces are kind of off limits for Roach at this point. We know one's in Lumberjack Cave, and we know one is on Blind, who Roach took a death to and got out of Thieves Town.
We also know one is inaccessible to anybody right now on the Lake Hylia Island, because you're going to need both Flippers and Mirror to put that in logic. Hey, there's the fire rod at the digging game, which, is unfortunate for some of our other runners who have been through here already. But, yeah, fire rod at digging game, gonna put, a lot of Skull Woods into play here, and give us access to, lighting torches. Pretty important.
Yeah, very true. It looks like Virtua Cat's now going to go on the Blacksmith World Tour as Roach picks up another Triforce piece. I believe that's either 18 or 19 for Roach at this point.
It's an 18 for Roach. We do see Chloe Prower going to get scammed by Zora. We'll see if it's an actual scam or not. But here comes the Zora check.
Yeah, let's see what the Zora investment program has today.
It's a mirror! That is the opposite of a scam.
Yeah. Risk of reward is apparent in the Zora investment program. Today it was reward.
Absolutely. The mirror, of course, grants you instant access to that hammer, which also grants access to the east side of Death Mountain. And if you have the Titan's Mitts, which apparently Chloe does not, you can check Dark Death Mountain as well.
And Virtua Cat taking a trip into the Hype Cave. Spy Poet picking up Triforce piece in the chest game.
And Roach getting the Tempered Sword from Agina's Cave. It's going to be pretty big. There is a Triforce piece on Ether Tablet. So that's going to be out of the way for anybody who hasn't picked up the mirror yet. Because you're going to have to go to Zora to get to the top of this mountain. Guaranteed.
Oof.
No way around it.
But that was definitely a very good gamble for Chloe Prower then to check Zora. I believe Chloe had sequence broke the waterfall earlier as well.
Very true. Chloe now has the big key and will be heading upstairs. The small key yet to be found. And if you're one of these runners, you prefer to keep it that way.
Well, looks like Virtua Cat is going to join Spy Poet and I believe Roach in singing a lullaby to head into Desert Palace.
All right. There is a compass, which means that either the small key is in the basement or it's right there, and there's now an item in the basement. So, this is one of the biggest debates I always have with myself if I run a Triforce hunt is, do I go to the basement of Hera knowing there's an item there?
I would think, given that it's, we do know that Trolldorm is not one of the items, or is it guaranteed to be in the basement?
It will be one of the items as well. So it's going to be Trolldorm and the basement. We've got both the map and compass at this point.
Okay.
So yeah, I see a lot of people talking about the sort of thing I tend to do, which is actually skip it for now, and then after the east side of Death Mountain, if I still don't have what I'm looking for, I'll go back.
Now, is there any specific logic behind that? Because I would kind of think the opposite and go, well, I'm in Tower of Hera right now, so why wouldn't I just do the basement?
Well, because it's like a minute time loss to do it if it's nothing. And this is Triforce Hunt, where everything is about checking as many chests as you can, as fast as you can. That's the real thing. If this were a normal open mode race, yeah, I'd probably do Hera Basement. But in Triforce Hunt, it's a little harder to justify.
Spy Poet has done the digging game and has the fire rod as well. Chad is saying that Virtua Cat is the only one that did do the digging game until Spy Poet had just done it before going into the hype cave in that area. Well, it looks like Roach is going to be heading into Skull Woods at this point.
Yep. So we did see another Triforce piece up on the floating island. If Chloe had the Titansmiths, that would be accessible right now, but unfortunately, Chloe just hasn't picked up a bottle yet.
Yeah, the Titansmiths are property of the sick kid, and he's definitely willing to hand them over.
We find the ice rod in Paradox Cave for Chloe Prower. And there's another bottle in King's Tomb for Spy Poet.
Ooh, half magic. Chloe Prower picking up a Triforce piece.
Hookshot. Okay, so hookshot on the east side of Death Mountain means mirror is now required for east side Death Mountain. Because there's no other way to get there.
Okay, so now to access the east side of Death Mountain, and I'm assuming that's going to mean going into Turtle Rock or anything like that as well.
You have to go to Zora. That's the thing.
Okay.
You gotta go to Zora to get there.
Well, yeah, we need the mirror for that, which, well, minor details. It looks like Virtua Cat has picked up the rupees in the Houlihan room. Chloe Prower is headed into Hype Cave, and we'll find it slightly less impressive than the last 5 chests that Chloe Prower picked up.
All right, Virtua Cat will be taking care of the Misery Mire area. One thing that one advantage that Chloe Prower will have is the ability to check mirror locations. So that includes over here at the Grove Ledge and the the Graveyard Ledge, and of course Checkerboard Cave, which is another place you like to check when you go to Misery Mire.
Now, Virtua Cat has picked up a bottle, so hopefully that'll send them over to the sick kid.
So for those of you just tuning in, this is a Triforce Hunt seed. The way it's set up for this one is there are 50 pieces scattered throughout the world, and to win the game you need 40. As we see one in the Haunted Grove Ledge Cave. That's going to put Chloe Prower into the Triforce piece lead right now. But as soon as you get 40, Triforce pieces, you will be immediately transported to the Triforce room, and you win the game.
I believe Chloe has not picked up the flute yet. The flute along with... Wait a second. If Chloe has the boots, Chloe would also have the flute.
Chloe has the flute and has activated it. The only thing is Chloe has not picked up the bottle from the library and then didn't go to Sick Kid, so...
Well, I think the important part is going to the sick kid. Just given that the sick kid has the Titansmiths.
Yeah, well, you have to have a bottle to get the item from the sick kid. So,
And we know
It'd be nice to have the Titan's Mitts, but you got to have a bottle first. Yeah. So.
Oh, you mean the fetch quests have like a whole line you have to go through to actually get to the end of it?
Yeah. I mean, that's generally the play.
They need to fix that. Like, totally. Just, I want to go right to the end.
You want to find the claim check in the chest? Is that what you want?
Exactly. But I think there's a couple other options open to Chloe Prower in the way of finding a bottle, as I believe both Roach and Spy Poet have found 3 bottles.
Yeah, well, one of them was in King's Tomb, which usually you don't go for without the Titan's Mitts, though Chloe could reach that one with the mirror. I can't remember where the other one was.
Oh, neither can I, but at this point, I think do you just try to go for the most dense locations possible, and just, if you orphan 1 or 2 chests along the way, so be it.
I mean, that's generally my strategy for Triforce Hunt, like, on the whole, so there you go.
Well, it is definitely a race to 40 Triforce pieces instead of getting 7 crystals and unlocking Ganon's Tower. The likelihood of even seeing Ganon's Tower and playing the guessing game today is unlikely by the looks of it.
That is very true. So we say it's a race for the 40 Triforce pieces, but at this point, I would say it's a race to Zora for a lot of these players. The mirror locking the hammer and all those things, which are locking so much at this point.
Well, Roach definitely looks to be headed that way. Looks like Roach has pulled off a fake flipper and headed over to Zora's domain, which might include the waterfall cave as well.
All right, so Roach should pick up another Triforce piece here in the waterfall cave, and then head over to Zora, where the mirror will be available. All right, so Chloe has now found both items in Skull Woods and will be piecing out immediately.
Yeah, it doesn't seem interested in exploring Skull Woods any further. I guess you would need the crystals if you have to go into Ganon's Tower for some odd reason. But aside from that, I don't see any reason why I would want to essentially waste time going after the boss.
Yeah, especially since Skull Woods is a pendant.
Minor details.
Though, if you were over there and just decided to mirror and check the pedestal, and it turned out to be a Triforce piece, you might go for it.
That is true.
There's a Triforce piece up on Bumper Cave, so that's one that's locked behind the cape.
Well, we don't know what Sashrahala has in store for us if we pick up the green pendant, which I believe that's why we know Skull Woods is pendant dungeon.
No, it's Turtle Rock that is the green pendant.
Turtle Rock. Okay.
The reason we know Skull Woods is a pendant is because of the music.
All right, you're gonna have to clue me in on this one.
So the music for Crystal Dungeons has the staccato strings that go. That's the Crystal Dungeons. The Pendant Dungeons are da 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 da. That's what they are.
Oh, tricky. I learned something today. So without even looking at the map, and we know where Roach is, I mean, never mind that we see on the tracker it's a crystal dungeon. This music that is playing right now from Roach denotes that it is a crystal dungeon.
Correct.
Okay.
All right.
So now I'm trying to figure out where everybody is. It looks like Virtua Cat might be headed up toward Catfish.
Yeah, Catfish time. That is a he's a location that sometimes lives up to his name.
Well, we're about to find out, and now would you head back over to Palace of Darkness from the Catfish? Or do you just kind of... Huh. That looks like we now know the location of the fourth bottle.
Yep, bottles all around. So, yeah, one of the things in this particular instance, especially if I'm Chloe Pryor right now, I am extremely interested in going to Pod. Because I've got the hammer, I've got the bow, there's 5 items there. Give me your things.
Fair enough. It looks like Roach is going to pick off Moldworm here as well.
Where were the first 4 Triforces located? Is this quiz time now?
Not quite yet. Come on now.
Well, I mean, Uncle right outside of Uncle, the mushroom location, and the 4th chest in Blind's Hut.
See, I told you were going to remember.
Depending on which way you went. Speaking of Triforce pieces, there's one on the pyramid. So that's a little out of the way location that nobody's been to yet, and Virtua Cat has that thing.
Yeah, it looks like Spy Poet's about to pick up the Triforce piece that Blind's been holding on to.
Yep, gotta make sure we survive. But
one more hit.
As long as you put 9 hits in, you're good.
Yeah, it looks like Virtua Cat is into Palace of Darkness. Well, not into, but onto the way of getting into Palace of Darkness.
Yep. So, slight downside for Virtua Cat, no hammer right now, so won't be able to completely clear the place. But without the hammer, you can access every location in Palace of Darkness except for one. And that is the boss.
Well, hopefully the boss isn't sitting on an item of some kind that would make things a little difficult. Let's see. Well, here's one. Here's a key. That's a dungeon item.
Yeah. There are a grand total of 6 small keys in Palace of Darkness. They're all over the place, and at least 4 of them have to be in the front area, either the that chest right there, the 2 on the right in the bowlock section, or the basement, or the ledge, or this vanilla big key chest. So those 6 locations have to have at least 4 small keys between them. Could have more.
Well, there's 2.
There's a Triforce piece inside the big chest of Thieves Town, which none of our other runners were able to get because they didn't have the hammer coming in here.
One of the advantages of Roach going into this area a little later than everybody else is having that hammer so far. Looks like Chloe Pryor's going to take on Blind here and pick up what will be the 24th Triforce piece that Chloe Pryor will have, assuming that they're able to finish off the Blind fight here.
All right, so Roach will now be checking out the Hookshot Cave, so called because the hookshot will allow you to get the chests in this cave. 4 items in here, and of course we know there's a Triforce piece just outside after mirroring. My
So
goodness.
far, so good.
3 for 3, can we make it 4 for 4? No, close enough though. 3 Triforce pieces and a 4th one outside. Hookshot Cave is value central today.
Oh, absolutely. That actually put Roach back into the lead at 25. Chloe Prower using the chess game to tie the score back up at 25. Spy Poet is on 19, and Virtua Cat has 21 of the required 40 Triforce pieces.
And there's the remaining one outside for Roach, and Chloe Prower picks up one in the brewery. So we're just going back and forth with these Triforce pieces. Now, the one major downside to Roach's approach here is he does not have the Fire Rod. He will not be able to check a lot of Turtle Rock here. Chloe Prower, finally going to Sick Kid, will pick up the Titan's Mitts.
Well, it looks like Roach is going to at least open up Turtle Rock here.
Yep, Ether Medallion for Turtle Rock as well, so that is load off of everybody's mind. Trying to get in there. Virtua Cat now into the back of Palace of Darkness, got a big key and a Triforce piece in the dark room here.
Looks like Chloe Prower having the mirror in tow is going to take the short way around and not send the blacksmith on a world tour.
Oh, and we're also going to get to see Peg Cave.
Hopefully there's a Triforce piece hiding in there, but it looks like good idea to do it while you're right there. Why not?
Yep, Triforce piece it is. And Roach, of course, after finding the big key in the one accessible chest in Turtle Rock, will be leaving. Need that Fire Rod to proceed anymore.
Well, if only we could let Roach know that minor little detail of the digging game being where the Fire Rod was. But that would be cheating.
All right, Chloe Prower picking up the Vanilla Tempered Sword. And we'll be heading off to other locations. The purple chest, I believe, will be next.
And yeah, Spy Poet definitely did the digging game before, as we see using the Fire Rod to get into the boss area of Skull Woods.
All right. So Chloe Prower will go turn in the purple chest. It does look like Chloe is going to head into the Dark World first, so that will allow her to combine that with the Bombos tablet that we were talking about earlier.
Well, the Ether tablet paid off so far with a Triforce piece, so...
Yep, we could have a double tablet triangle special.
Oh no, Virtua Cat, you don't want to be laying face down like that. That's not a winning strategy.
Yeah, looks like the dark room toward the in the dark maze was giving Virtua Cat some trouble. Looks like we did find the cape over there, though, while I wasn't paying attention. We've got red mail, looks like, at the Bombos tablet. So there we go.
I'm not sure what to think about that. I mean, it's definitely an item. It's definitely useful, but not a Triforce piece.
Well, I'm always happy to see mail upgrades, almost especially in Triforce Hunt, because in Triforce Hunt, you're less likely to be killing bosses, and bosses will give you refills and things like that. So the less you have to rely on things like that to keep your health up, the better. That's where the other bottle was. It was in Meyer's shed, next to the Triforce piece. We are going to see another location that Chloe Pryor can grab that no one else could. It's the checkerboard cave.
Roach going with some swag strats here.
Ooh, cane strats on blind. Probably my favorite way to kill blind. The lamp is in checkerboard cave. Are you kidding me right now?
Uh-oh, Roach has got to be a little careful here with only half a heart left. Oh, no.
No. That's going to mark the second time Roach has taken a death to blind today.
And it looks like Roach is...
So the reason that cane strats were being employed there, I don't think it was for swag purposes. I think it's because he's coming in there for a second time, and therefore doesn't have the scripted version of the fight.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that does make sense. You won't know where blind exactly is going that second or any other time you visit blind.
All right, so Chloe with the lamp in tow is going to head over to Palace of Darkness, which is a pretty nice place to have the lamp. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, that's very true.
Oh, Roach has just the sweet spot for that block.
Oh, yeah, that was a beautiful spot for that block. Did the whole second sequence, and it looks like... Oh, popped it a little
He's
too
one
early.
off. Just need one more hit. Don't take damage here. There we go. Whew.
Yeah. Ooh. Just before getting knocked around and into a fireball. Takes out blind before dying the third time. Looks like Virtua Cat's off to play Mirror Mirror on the Wall.
We have a glitch, ladies and gentlemen.
Uh-oh.
Roach picked up the Triforce piece. The crystal never spawned.
Uh-oh.
Apparently the Samaria block can cause that.
So, note to self, don't finish off blind with the Cane of Samaria. Or
Well,
pop the block.
just get rid of it before you pick up the item from blind.
Ah, okay. It's good knowledge going forward. We have Virtua Cat headed toward Thieves Town, but it looks like with the mirror in tow, that might not be where they end up going.
Yeah. So, Spy Poet is now inside Misery Mire. I believe this might be the first we've seen of that. Chloe is, of course, clearing out Pod. Roach and Chloe staying pretty close in terms of Triforce pieces. Chloe on 29, Roach just now on 29. And Virtua Cat is going to pick up the Triforce piece on Bumper Cave with that cape we found in Palace of Darkness.
Well, hopefully Virtua Cat can... almost giving a shot at... looked like a hover attempt.
Spy Poet is... So Spy Poet is currently visiting the fish room of Misery Mire, which is a rarely seen room. You usually only go there when you accidentally keylock yourself. But Spy Poet did take a little too much damage. We'll be needing to head back in through the front.
And Chloe Prowers picked up Triforce piece number 30 in the big money room.
And Roach answers right back with the Grove Ledge Triforce piece.
Oh, this is going to be hopefully such a close race. Chloe takes back the lead by finding another Triforce piece. Hopefully, Roach will be able to answer back soon.
300 rupees inside the Dark Maze lower chest, and the big chest is that cape we were talking about a minute ago.
And it looks like Roach is going to pick up mail. Looks like headed over to the Bombos tablet.
Chloe Pryor electing not to go for the boss of Pod, making a little bit of sense there, as Chloe now decides to head to the Death Mountain area. We know for a fact that Death Mountain is loaded with Triforce pieces, because Chloe did not have the Titan's mitts. She came up here the first time.
And it looks like Chloe might be able to get out to a pretty solid lead. Might end up with 35, if not 36, of the required 40 Triforce pieces.
Not only that, but Chloe does have all the required items to beat Turtle Rock. So
Ooh,
Chloe can actually clear out Turtle Rock.
So that might end up pushing Chloe very close to that 40.
For all we know, that could be actual 40. I think it's more likely that you'll find something like the flippers in there, which will grant you access to Swamp, and that'll finish you off.
Ah, okay.
Also, it'll grant you access to that one piece on the island.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, we know of a couple stray pieces about the land as Virtua Cat picks up, I believe that's number 27. And a question in chat is, does it just end when someone gets 40? That is actually correct. You will be immediately warped into the Triforce room as if you had defeated Ganon.
All right, let's see if Chloe remembers the Triforce piece on the floating island. She does.
Oh, that's good remembrance there, because that'll put Chloe 5 pieces away from victory here. And has put a significant amount of distance between Chloe and Roach at this point. Roach and Chloe were going neck and neck for a good long time, and Chloe's got out to a 5-piece lead at this point. Spy Poet doesn't seem to have been able to pick up many pieces, still at 19. Virtua Cat at 27, like I previously mentioned.
All right. Chloe Pryor will now be able to clear out a good portion of Turtle Rock. We'll see what's here shortly. It'll be great. I would also be tempted after this to go check out the Spike Cave if I were Chloe. And I think Chloe knows about the Triforce piece on Bumper Cave as well. So if Chloe finds like the flippers and like 3 pieces, you can finish it off with Bumper Cave and the island. Just call it good.
Well, that'd definitely do it. I think at this point it's just a matter of, hopefully not needing to go pick up, I don't want to call them stray pieces, but, if you can pick them up here, I guess be the ideal way of doing things.
Ooh, Chloe accidentally missing a torch there. Hopefully has enough time to get to the door. Yes.
And here we go into the roller room for Chloe as Spy Poet's picking
Triforce
up
piece and a key. We knew there had to be at least one key up here.
Yeah, very true. Oh, here we go. Roach fighting back, picking up believe that's number 32 for Roach. Still a couple behind Chloe at this point, but never want to count anybody out. You never know. If Turtle Rock strikes out for Chloe, that could allow Roach to get back into this very quickly.
So we know that this next chest in Turtle Rock is also guaranteed to be a small key. Otherwise, you just can't get through this door. And the big key is already available, but the vanilla big key chest could still have a Triforce piece, so I expect Chloe to go ahead and pick that up. Alright, so Spy Poet now has 500 plus rupees and will be able to go get that mirror, finally.
Yeah, looks like picking item location, or whistle location too, and that's definitely where Spy Poet's headed off to. Virtua Cat picks up the Triforce piece off of the Ether tablet. Roach is in a dark room, but not for long, picks up the cape.
Yep, Triforce piece in the vanilla big key chest of Turtle Rock. That leaves... So of the chests in this dungeon that have not been dungeon items, they have all been Triforce pieces so far.
Very fortunate for Chloe for that to be happening.
Yeah, now, when you get to the next bridge here, you can check Mimic Cave, which is technically not a part of Turtle Rock, but we count it there anyway. And then there is the big chest, the next chest as well, and 4 chests on Laser Bridge. This could very well be the end of the race coming up.
Hopefully it works out for Chloe, and, it would be a very fortunate pull of items if picking up the last 3.
So that maze that Roach did blind, that is a relatively common occurrence in randomizer play. Not having the lamp going into Palace of Darkness, it can really save you some time picking that up.
Oof.
Chloe actually taking an intentional death, it looks like, to refill some health before heading back in to the rest of Turtle Rock. There's Triforce piece number 38 for Chloe. So I agree with the decision to press on here. Even though you know where 2 other pieces are, there are 5 chests in front of you, and any one of them could have more pieces, making your orphan pickups later much easier.
Well, that's key. That's not what I think Chloe was looking for.
Well, I think Chloe was
of
looking for a key, otherwise you're not going to get through that door.
Well, yeah, true. I mean, for the immediate there and then, yeah, it definitely needed to be a key, or wasn't, not getting through that door. But being 2 pieces away, I can only imagine that Chloe is just going, all right, give me at least one of them. I can go pick up one of the last 2 that were orphaned. So Roach is still fighting back, now on 35, Spy Poet up to 20, and Virtua Cat not too far behind at 29.
All right, so we found the remaining small key. What do we have? Flippers, as I stated.
Yes, you definitely did.
Well, we did need those flippers to get that one of those orphan pieces, though, so...
That's just a matter of hopefully not taking a death while getting that last one.
Mushroom, interesting. But with that, if Chloe has done the checks we think she's done, we should be seeing a GG pretty soon.
Oh, speaking of GGs, there's actually been a couple already. Mach and X has finished in first place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 8 minutes, 4 seconds.
And there's
And
Vivi in second place. Look at that.
yeah, with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 9 minutes, 51 seconds. Vivi being Vurinidia.
Yeah, I'm not entirely certain how to pronounce that, so that I just call him Vivi. I think it's like V Voronitia or something.
Oh, note to self, if they're ever a restreamed runner, we're going to have to get to the bottom of that mystery.
Seems legit. All right, so we see Chloe is going for the bumper cave, and then after this, we'll probably go for the island.
And that should do it at this point, just picking up those last two pieces.
Oh, and Virtua Cat is getting dead rocked. That is the worst.
Oh, no. And Chloe getting past the bumper as Virtua Cat getting dead rocked some more, trying to access Turtle Rock.
So I expect a flute to 4 here for Chloe. That is exactly what we're getting. We'll see a dip into the dark world, and then probably a mirror out for the win.
Well, we have Spy Poet taking down Moldorm. Chloe Prower hopefully heading over to that last piece, and it looks like this will be it, using the mirror. Roach picking up a lantern.
And there we go. We have the official finish from Chloe Prower with an official time of 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 9 seconds. Third place. Congratulations.
And as you saw, the second Chloe Prower picked up that last of the 40 pieces that were required. You win. You can skip right past Ganon, collect your $200, and call it a day. Not quite sure if I remember how that works in Monopoly exactly, but close enough. So Virtua Cat gets knocked off by a electric jellyfish, stopping them from picking up a heart. Hikutype finished in 4th place with 1 hour, 12 minutes, 54 seconds.
All right, so we'll see if we can get Chloe Prower in here to talk about this. Chloe was in 3rd place overall. Pretty solid finish there. Only about 4 minutes behind 1st place.
Yeah, definitely well done. That gamble over to Zora paying out very well for Chloe there.
And speaking of, we are now joined by Chloe Prower. Congratulations.
Hi, how is everyone?
Doing all right. Doing all right. So, your face for sale.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that just cracked me up.
So, I'm taking the deviation was people went bottle sick kid and got gloves and never got mirror.
Yeah, basically. Mirror was, you having the mirror was a pretty big deal. It was just unfortunate that you didn't also have the gloves when you went up to Death Mountain. Then you could have just tore the place up.
No, when I saw the gloves, I'm like, wow, these were available super early. So I was worried that was gonna slow me down a bunch, but
yeah. So when you were in Turtle Rock, getting those last few chests. So you got the flippers in like the 3rd to last chest. So at that point, in your mind, you're like, okay, I've got pieces now, right?
Yeah, as soon as...
But, you know, if there's more pieces on the bridge, why not, right?
Right, I was hoping I got... I was thinking 39, because I remember the one at Bumper Cave, and I had Cape. And then I remember the lake one as I was on my way out. Because I wasn't expecting to get flippers up there, so...
Ah, there you go. Yeah. I thought Swamp might come into play if flippers came in, but nah, there were plenty of pieces to go around without Swamp Palace rearing its debatably ugly head.
Yeah, I was waiting for that too. It never happened though. I mean, I cleared 3 dungeons from what it looks like, but I went into 7, 6, 7.
Yeah. Yeah.
So not a lot of boss kills needed, really.
Yeah, that's kind of the essence of Triforce Hunt. You're checking as many locations that are convenient to do as you can, but the boss kill's not necessarily necessary.
Oh, my dreams of a pedestal pull for the 40th piece were dashed as I just saw Chloe Prower's final part of the ending sequence, a full heart on the pedestal for those who are interested.
So just a full heart there. So, Chloe, how do you feel about Triforce Hunt in general? What do you think about the mode? How do you feel about 40 pieces instead of 20? You know, that sort of thing.
I personally enjoy Triforce Hunt. It's different because you also have to make the gamble of, okay, I've gotten most of the items out of here, or all the items out of this dungeon. Do I still clear it, or do I go and do something else? That becomes like an additional decision that you have to make, because you still have to route in most of the items, but you're never in a real go mode unless you know where the last piece is.
Right.
Oh, if I may butt in a little bit, we have Weighty Words finishing in 5th place with 1 hour, 17 minutes, 9 seconds. And it looks like Roach is on 38 pieces as well, so it looks like they may go about finishing in a similar manner as Chloe Prower did just a few minutes ago.
I wouldn't be surprised if they actually ended up picking up the exact same 40 pieces.
I think Big Chest was a piece. So
Oh yeah, Thieves
39.
Town Big Chest would be a problem.
No, Big Chest and Turtle Rock, but yeah.
Yeah, Roach just picked that one up, and that would be 39. And unfortunately for Roach,
I think Roach already has the Bumper Cave pit one though. So
correct.
Oh, that's right. Mirror
the one that
hammer
Roach
too.
is missing is actually, I believe, blind, unless he was able to finally finish that fight off.
That's right. Mirror led to hammer too, which means that's another. They had Dark World access, but only from Kakariko.
So, yeah. So we had a weird mishap earlier. One of our runners defeated Blind, got the Triforce piece, and the crystal never spawned.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently that can happen if you leave a Samaria block on the screen. When that happens.
Looks like Roach is on the laser bridge and gonna find the flippers, but I don't think anything else of immediate interest is a compass and
a mushroom, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, the mushroom being the last chest.
I didn't see the text, so I'm not sure if the mushroom led to one.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about it. I was too busy cracking up to your face for sale.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the more inventive Zora sayings. Roach getting out of Turtle Rock and going to Death Mountain, I think, just to activate the flute as quickly as possible. Looks like Roach is off to location number 4. So it looks like gonna be the exact same way that Chloe had finished.
So, Chloe, anything else you'd like to say before we get ready to bring in Roach here?
No, it was fun. I'm glad I could actually win.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely. Well done, Chloe.
Thank you.
And as you said, Dr. Bob, it looks like Roach is just a few seconds away from activating that mirror and picking up piece number 40.
There we go. All right, Roach finishing on screen. Official time, 1 hour, 20 minutes, and 46 seconds.
And it looks like Hydropower 78 was not too far behind with a 7th place finish with 1 hour, 21 minutes, 15 seconds. Now it'll be a race between Virtua Cat and Spy Poet to see who out of the remaining restreamed runners will take 3rd and 4th out of the restreamed runners exclusively. So far we've had 7 finishers out of everyone who's taken part in the daily race.
I am excited. We're going to see fake powder from Virtua Cat over here.
Well, let's see what the battle bring us.
All right,
Bat
so we'll see if we can get
Triforce
Roach
piece.
in here to talk to us. But Roach is in chat at least right now. We'll see what the question is.
All right, Roach, you can jump on in here.
So what happened on Blind? Apparently, that can happen if you leave a Samaria block on screen. That's what I'm being told by chat. I'm not sure if that's the case. Don't take it as gospel. But that is what I think is happening.
Well, my policy is not to think at all, so I know nothing. I just know that, unfortunately, you were unable to pick up that piece on Blind, which was a couple minutes added on to the time.
So you should be receiving an invite as soon as the finish button is hit. So if that's not happening, then there's some sort of problem to the or from the block, or not the block, the blue bot. Bot is the word I'm looking for.
Well, right now we have Virtua Cat picking up what will be piece number 39. Looks like the Hammer Peg Cave. And Spy Poet is unfortunately a little further behind, still on 29 of the 40 required pieces.
Yeah, the low rupees with the Zora mirror was a real just pain in the face. I think we finally got Roach in here. Congratulations on finishing this. I know you were disappointed in your own performance, but it was still a pretty good finish nonetheless. We are
I
having
think
a
we
little
have
trouble
a
hearing you
little
there.
issue with the audio. I'm going to take this time to say Big Dunka is our 8th place finisher with the time of 1 hour 22 minutes 49 seconds. He's Just a Boy is our 9th place finisher, 1 hour 24 minutes 58 seconds. And Virtua Cat, as we've just seen, finishes in 10th place with 1 hour 25 minutes 4 seconds. I think I hear very faint audio in the back, which I think might be Roach. Might need to look into that audio a little better.
It sounds like there might be a connection issue or something along those lines.
With Spy Poet being the last of our restreamed runners, hopefully she'll be able to finish this out strong. She's 3/4 of the way done at 30 of the 40 required pieces.
Well, despite Roach not being able to actually join us, okay, there's Roach again, and Virtua Cat has also joined us, so congratulations to both of you on finishing.
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you this time, Roach. That's a good thing.
No, that wasn't Roach, that was Virtua Cat.
Oh, that wasn't Roach. I see Roach's name lit up in the Discord. Oh, no.
Yeah, so Roach is transmitting, but no actual sound is coming out. It's pretty sad.
Hopefully that works now.
I think I heard something.
Maybe? Hear me?
Hello, Roach.
There we go. Hello.
Alright. So apparently my Discord reset my microphone to my controller for some reason.
Oh, that's useful.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got Spy Poet on 30 pieces right now. Virtua Cat finishing up where most of our other runners did at the island.
She needs to go up to Triforce Cave up there on Death Mountain.
Oh,
yeah, my goodness.
Yeah, Zora having that mirror put me behind so much.
Yeah, there was no way to get really money. I both hula hand and cleaned out the pod basement.
I really need to learn how to do Hula Hand.
I think Fake Clippers got you 300, and I actually went to the cave near desert and farmed up the last.
I see. So yeah, Houlihan is an interesting play. There's a couple different ways to do it. When you don't have the flippers, it's the easiest one. So you go to the useless fairy cave over there near the witch. You can either go into the cave or just walk to the top of the screen and then jump off the ledge 4 times and jump and go in the hole. Jump off the ledge going downward, that is. And that will adjust your camera to where you get the hula-hand room. It's really weird, but it works.
Yeah, you'll notice, like, especially if you pay attention to, like, the edge of where the water meets the ground, you can see that moving up just slightly every time you jump in. And after 3 or 4 times, you just hop in and get your 225 rupees.
Yeah, 225 is the number.
Where was
Sounds like my bowling average?
Wow, that's an impressive bowling average.
Yeah, that's actually good.
I'm sitting on like 74.
My all-time high is a 219. I had like 180 average.
Was Lamp in Checkerboard Cave?
It
Yes,
sure was.
That's why I didn't go there at the end, because I figured that had to be Lamp.
You were out of other locations? Yeah.
That was the first time I have ever done Turtle Rock Dark Room.
Oh, all right.
It's not too bad.
Yeah, once you, if you just go in and just kind of think to yourself, okay, this is what I do normally, I'll just hold the directions and call it good, you usually get there.
What I'm laughing at is I failed the Eastern Palace Dark Room, but I did the pod one no problem.
Oh, yeah. So
You should've
here's the
seen
thing,
my
the Eastern Palace back dark room is actually, I would say, a little trickier than the pod one, to be honest. Like, you've got to kill that Igor and make sure that you don't just get destroyed. And if you get knocked around a little bit, you just completely lost your bearings, especially if you don't have any fire source of any kind.
Yeah, if you have a fire rod, you can just immediately turn left or right and shoot a flame, and it's super simple from there. It's mandatory to have the bow to clear that room because you have to have the bow to go any further, anyways. But the bow just is the best thing to use to get through that.
Another thing, as far as money troubles goes, there's 90 rupees over on the right side of that room if you wanted those. So,
Yeah, I was
think those
already
are in the dark,
out of
too.
there. Never worried about it again.
yeah. So one of my favorite strats for that room, actually, is to use the Ether Medallion. It will freeze the popos in place and give you sort of a frame of reference to see where you are.
I'll keep that in mind.
I think I used Bombos in the not Turtle Rock pod Dark Maze, just because I had I think a heart and a half left at that point.
It's like, you know what? I am not chancing this right now.
Also, I will remember about the Canis Spire thing with blind for other races besides Triforce Hunt.
Yeah. Apparently, if you leave the block on screen when the crystal's going to fall, that would be a problem. All you have to do to prevent that from happening is just make the thing disappear before you go to pick up the item.
I mean, I was using Canis Mario just for the fans. I know everyone loves Kane strats on blind.
Well, I mean, and actually, in my opinion, Kane strats are easier when you're going back in for the second fight, because it's not, you don't necessarily know the script for the second part, right? That's not a thing that everybody practices.
Yeah, does anyone actually practice that?
Yeah, backup strats for blind are not a thing that people practice.
Yeah, playing vanilla blind is just miserable to fight, but once you kind of know that little script, it makes it a little bit easier.
So what do you guys? How do you guys feel about Triforce Hunt as a mode? Is it something you enjoy, or is it something you'd rather not do that often?
I
think it's a good diversion.
We need a tournament of it. The
Triforce Hunt tournament.
The 40-50 is actually really good for a tournament, I think.
Yeah, maybe. It's with that many pieces, it's a little less variance than it is with 20 out of 30. Just have the 100 Triforce piece tournament.
Oh no.
80-100.
No, 95 out of 100.
Oh, you're an evil man.
I mean, yes.
I would say, 90, but, seems to be, let 10 strays run about as you pick up all the rest.
Yeah, that does seem to be sort of the standard. I've seen someone do 100 out of 110 before. That's fun.
Oof.
I think this works really well, especially since you can kind of finish this relatively faster than a normal seed, either be it standard or open. It's just a good palate cleanser.
In general, your Triforce Hunt runs are going to usually end up a little faster. So if you're looking to do something that's a little bit less time investment, Triforce Hunt is kind of the way to go. Though you can also make that worse if you go for the hundreds of Triforce pieces.
Yeah, I think that's a bit much once you get above about, I would say, 75. Now, it looks like Spy Poet's taking on Helmasaur and bonking its nose.
I think this may be the only Helmasaur fight we've seen on screen.
I think Helmasaur has the map, so...
Yeah, I don't think there's...
The only thing is Helmasaur does have one of the 5/6s. So that's the only thing that I would be concerned about here.
I said, once I got all the items in the dungeon, I peaced out.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing 5/6 and doing Fairy, but then I thought one was Meyer, and I'm like, eh.
Yeah, Mire is not the sort of place you like to go in Triforce Hunt. Only 2 items, and Triforce Hunt is all about get as many item locations checked as possible, as quickly as possible.
If you don't mind me butting in for a little bit, Fiffer finished in 11th place with a SRL time of 1 hour, 27 minutes, 5 seconds. Salty Fry finished in 12th, 1 hour, 26 seconds. Active Ogre, 13th place, 1 hour, 28 minutes, 24 seconds. Signums is 14th place, 1 hour, 30 minutes, 51 seconds. Old Man Sunshine, 15th place, 1 hour, 34 minutes, 27 seconds. Frostwares finished in 16th place with a time of 1 hour, 35 minutes, 48 seconds. Carry on.
Which is technically in the future on stream, but that's okay.
It just popped up. I blame stream lag.
Exactly. Yeah, so a lot of what I'll see if you want like max Triforce Hunt shenanigans, you can get rid of all the hearts. You can get rid of all the all the progressive upgrades and just have the biggest one. You can get rid of all the maps and compasses. All these sorts of things. Can crank it up to like 130 or so.
Get rid of the boomerangs and bottles while you're at it. Just keep one bottle.
Yeah, 1 bottle. You need 1 bottle.
It's an insanity seed at that point. Because you're going to have to climb Ganon's tower.
Yeah. Well, you can also like change your starting equipment. So you could just give yourself everything to begin with and then just get rid of it out of the pool. And then you've got thousands of, a whole ton of Triforce pieces, but it's pretty trivial at that point because all you're looking for then are the keys and stuff.
You start with everything. 216 out of 216 Triforce Hunt.
Optimize 100% strats.
Well, the problem with that is there's no way to give yourself the keys at the start. I looked into it. I wanted to do that actually. I was like, I want to try to do a 200 Triforce Hunt, and I wanted to give myself all the keys at the start, but that's not an option.
There's a way to. Isn't the classic mode allow you to buy keys or something?
Oh yeah, retro mode gives you the ability to buy keys. That's true.
You could just give yourself the 5,000 rupees and tell yourself to buy keys at the start.
Yeah, I think if you wanted to get in and hack it, you could sort of create an item that you could pick up and would give you all the keys.
I think there's a glitch you could do in the vanilla that just allows you to trick the game into thinking you have all the keys.
Interesting.
Or that you have all the keys for one dungeon and you use it to go to different dungeons.
Oh yeah, that happens in like the reverse boss order run, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Alright, I'm going to be heading off. Good luck to the other racers, and thank you for commentating our races.
Yeah, enjoy yourself. Have a good night.
Yeah, good job finishing the race. Well done.
Thank
So
you.
Spy Poet is currently on 33 Triforce pieces.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'm going to fire off a couple more finishing times here. Zelnus finished in 17th place, with a time of 1 hour, 36 minutes, 50 seconds. Firewood King finished in 18th place, 1 hour, 37 minutes, 17 seconds. And Alraydris, is 19th place with a 1 hour, 38 minutes, 29 seconds. Cheater Hater has finished in 19th place as well with a time of 1 hour, 38 minutes, and 30 seconds. I guess close enough to have a tie between those two. It looks like Spy Poet's about to pick up piece number 34 on the pyramid ledge.
Very true. Sorry about that minor emergency. But I'm back.
Oh, that's all right. I'll lull them all sleep with my charming voice and give you all the time you need.
Okay, so Spy Poet now going to head off to Catfish, it looks like. No Triforce piece there, if I recall correctly.
I believe you do recall correctly. Also, turning in the mushroom will yield a full heart with...
Yeah, I think Spy Poet's just here to get some potions, however. If Spy Poet had been to Turtle Rock to get that mushroom, he'd have quite a few more Triforce pieces.
That is very true.
He's still missing his other glove.
Oh, really? He hasn't gone to Sick Kid?
He might have forgot.
Well, next time we get a menu, see if Spy Poet has Titan's mitts are still on Power Glove. Well, here we go with Catfish.
She's got mitts. She just picked up the skull.
Didn't they just lift up the rock? Yeah, I thought so. All right, we got bees in a bottle. That's what it was.
Yeah,
Because-
I think it's just the tracker not being cooperative with updating properly.
Ah, I see.
Those mitts were in a really tricky location. You could think like, oh well, that bottle's really close. I can go get it. But then you think, oh well, there's going to be 3 other bottles. I can grab one somewhere else. And most of the time, you finished everything in CAC except for a Sick Kid at that point.
Right.
I think I found a bottle on Death Mountain instead.
Yeah, there was a bottle in. Well, no, the bottles were King's Tomb,
Oh, Thieves Town was right.
King's Tomb, Mire Shed, Library, and Catfish.
Well, it looks like Spy Poet's going to be headed into the Dark World here through the Lost Woods.
I was really banking on Aghanim being required when I noticed that. I didn't have flippers or hammer at that point. Doing the water walk, hopefully getting one of those 2 over in Pod, but Pod didn't really work out the way that I wanted it to.
Well, I mean, if you had done Aghanim at any point, there was another Triforce piece in it for you.
Yeah, Lumberjack was a Triforce piece, and I'm like, I'm just gonna count that as one I can't get.
Looks like Spy Poet's found number 35, headed into the Bumper Cave.
Yeah, we just gotta hope for Spy Poet's sake that that they go ahead and head to the Sick Kid as soon as possible.
No, she's got the mitts. It looked like it was just a tracker issue.
Oh, right. I of course, I'm dumb.
Oh no, we're just old. We're forgetful.
Perhaps.
You're an absent-minded professor.
There you go.
Looks like Spy Poet's going to use the flute and head on out of there.
Are we going to get a flute to 1? No, this looks like a flute to 6 for Misery Mire shenanigans. Now, Spy Poet has been inside Misery Mire already, so looks like they are heading back, though.
Maybe they're going for their 5-6 kill.
Well, that would unlock the Pyramid Fairy, correct?
That is true. You can get the big bomb from the shop and blow that up in front of the pyramid to access 2 more items. Interestingly enough, strange trivia for that, the big bomb Also works on normal walls.
Now, does the big bomb cost any money to pick up?
It costs 100 rupees to buy, yes. And if you lose it, you pay for it again.
Ooh.
At least in the sort of sequel, remake, 3D-ified version of this, it didn't do that. You paid for it once and then you could just get it.
Now, could you only use it once as well for when you paid for it?
You could use it many times, and in fact, there were multiple places you needed to use it to get things.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, one of my favorite things is there was an interesting little thing put together of this, a planned randomizer somebody made, where you could not use your bombs. And so part of the seed was go get 5 and 6 so that you can use this bomb to go blow up walls like Hype Cave and places like that.
Right now, it looks like Spy Poet's actually headed to the boss area.
We are going to see a Vitreous fight. Now, assuming Spy Poet knows how Vitreous works, this should be a pretty academic fight. The silver arrows make Vitreous a actual joke.
Now, I believe you can actually just shoot Vitreous with the silver arrows directly, correct? Or do you have to clear out?
I believe all the eyes need to be dead before you can hit him with the arrows. It might be possible to hit him while he's up doing the lightning, but it's just faster to take out all the eyeballs and then get 2 hits in. Because you can actually take out all the eyeballs before Vitreous comes up for the lightning shot. So the way that Vitreous works is he takes longer to come up the more eyeballs are on screen.
Oh, Spy Poet took at least 1 hit from the lightning, but was able to finish that off. Unfortunately, only a compass and a crystal awaiting Spy Poet at the end of this dungeon.
But we will be able to see if there are important items in the Pyramid Fairy, including those ever so important Triforce pieces. Two items, and quite possibly could be 2 Triforce pieces. Who knows?
That is very true. I think Spy Poet, however, has not been into where were all our Triforce pieces? They were on Death Mountain and Turtle Rock for the most part.
Yeah, so I think Turtle Rock, Hookshot Cave are the main things.
I think they've been to Hookshot Cave, they're just in Turtle Rock.
Alright. So we've had Lord of Dabu and Shocks finishing recently in 21st and 22nd place. And Spy Poet picking up that bomb.
Lord of Dabu finishing with a time of 1 hour 48 minutes and 1 second. Shocks finishing with 1 hour 48 minutes and 43 seconds. And yeah, it does look like Spy Poet committing into the Pyramid Fairy here, so we'll get a little bit of extra knowledge.
All right, so one massive explosion coming right up, and of course, the bigger the explosion, the less it hurts you, because this doesn't hurt you at all if you're standing next to it.
Oh, because logic.
We got Triforce and Brian. Hello, Kane of Berna.
Well, that puts Spy Poet 4 pieces away from finishing up. Looks
I think he's going for Aghanim. Oh no, he's going for the dark basement chest. But he could go for Aghanim. There is a Triforce piece behind that.
Now, does Aghanim himself have a Triforce piece?
No, but the Lumberjack Cave does, and you need to get...
That's
beat him
true.
to-
Yeah, we do know
get
the
that.
Lumberjack Cave does have the Triforce piece.
Yep, there's a Triforce in the Dark Escape chest as well. That puts Spy Poet on 37.
I think I grabbed this one, but it was probably hard to see.
Spy Poet getting the flute to activate right before getting hit by both of the blue armored guards. We also have Artemis SZ finishing in 23rd place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 50 minutes, and 16 seconds.
All right, so coming up, we've got Spy Poet heading to the east side of Death Mountain. We may be getting that Turtle Rock check here.
Hopefully, Spy Poet will be able to pick up everything that's needed and get the remaining 3 pieces to get to 40 here.
We do know for a fact that there are, in fact, 3 entire Triforce pieces in Turtle Rock, so if you just head through there, grabbing as much as you can, you will be done.
Looks like the Dead Rocks being a little more cooperative for Spy Poet than I saw for a couple of the other runners. And this looks like it'll be it for Spy Poet. Definitely taking the warp into Turtle Rock at this point. Gonna activate the Ether Medallion.
All right, Turtle Rock is the play, so we will be finishing this seed shortly for Spy Poet. Did we mention Truzzle yet?
No, we did not.
Right, Truzzle, we've got finishing in 24th place with an official time of 1 hour, 52 minutes, and 33 seconds. Spy Poet will pick up the big key here, Triforce piece, and a small key on the right-hand side, followed by a small key in the Chain Chomp room, then a Triforce piece in the big key chest, and then there's a Triforce piece in the big chest. That should finish it off. Maybe a Mimic Cave check in there. I guess I just spoiled the rest of the broadcast.
Yeah. I think you've just ruined the possible being on commentary ever again. Spoiler alert. Gotta
What?
preface things like that.
All right, Spy Poet. Gonna pick up Triforce piece number 38.
Just taking the scenic route around the rollers as we pick up the small key and Triforce piece number 38.
This is what we call being extremely careful and not using the iframes that the hookshot would give you, because it's not always readily apparent how to use that. It's something that requires a little bit of practice.
That looks like we're gonna get the key, that door down, and oh, into the chain chomp room to get another key.
And off we go. The Triforce Seed should be finished pretty shortly on stream here. Hopefully they don't skip the big key chest. That would be a problem.
Very much so. Since the objective is to get 40 Triforce pieces, I think Spy Poet should be in this to hopefully get everything out of here and not have to do anything else.
Alright, so we are going for the big key chest. That's going to be Triforce piece number 39. Yeah, both the blocks in that chomp room can be pushed to activate the chest. It's kind of strange, and I don't believe that any other room in the game follows that pattern where you can push both blocks to make it happen. But there you go.
Now it's just one more trip to find the big chest itself, and I believe that will be number 40.
We may see a check on Mimic Cave first. That does seem somewhat likely. But the big chest will make it the final Triforce piece.
Yeah, it looks like here we go with the Mimic Cave.
It's the final Triforce. Oh, just going for the big chest. That'll do it. Number 40.
Yeah,
Congratulations to Spy Poet. Putting it in with the official finish time of 1 hour, 57 minutes, and 25 seconds. Noting that before that, 25th place came in from Rudolph Fahrenheit at 155.45, and Spy Poet coming in with a 157.25 in 26th place.
And that'll do it for our 4 restreamed runners. Hopefully Spy Poet will hop in and looks like Spy Poet's jumping into the Discord, have a little chat, and
and we are now joined by Spy Poet. Congratulations on finishing that mess.
The seed!
This seed indeed.
Like, especially even with doing Houlihan, not having that much money that early just meant I just didn't want to do Zora. I don't want to be restreamed featuring 3 minutes of me going in and out of the cave for 50 rupees.
Yeah, well, you were not the only one who ended up having to do that. The rupees were few and far between. And of course, if you did the fake flipper, you could have gotten 300. Which is unfortunate, but
A lot of me deciding not to do tricks I don't have down today.
yeah.
I can't reliably do fake flipper. That Eastern Palace Darkroom just... Oh my god.
Yeah, the Eastern Palace Darkroom in the back is particularly tricky, and I actually consider it to be one of the harder ones that exist.
I'm just happy I can do the side room in the Eastern Palace. I haven't even tried the back room yet. Oh, and of course the whole background accident.
It happens.
I dropped my controller on my keyboard.
ooh.
Yeah. So, yeah, one of the things that we like to suggest for runners of this game and especially on emulator, is just try to go ahead and disable some of those hotkeys so that that doesn't happen. It's not a requirement, but and you didn't gain any advantage from disabling that layer, but it's the sort of thing that you would want to maybe keep around for later purposes.
Yeah, it was several moments of me just going, okay, I fixed it. Going to another room, okay, I didn't fix it.
Yeah, that happens from time to time.
Yeah, it was kind of an unfortunate occurrence, but you survived, and I think that's got to count for something.
So I have to ask, because I see that everyone else found flippers. Where were they?
You were almost at them. They were on Laser Bridge.
Oh. Probably a good thing I didn't, to be honest.
Well, I mean, the flippers would have gotten you the one Triforce piece on the island in Lake Hylia, and there were probably a couple in Swamp, just throwing that out there.
Did Waterfall Cave have one too?
Yeah, Waterfall Cave did have one.
So here was the issue with Turtle Rock. I forgot to check the tablet while I was up there originally, and could do so. So I was running around, and I'm like, I don't want to climb all the way up Death Mountain just to find out it's Quake and I can't get into it.
Yeah, there you go. The tablet was good. It was a Triforce piece. But yeah, Quake was nowhere to be found so far. We think it's probably in Ganon's Tower.
Honestly, the way the seed was going, I was wondering if I'd see my first ever Ganon
Wait,
Tower.
I just noticed something. Where'd you find the powder?
Oh, Meyer.
Oh, okay. All right. Now we can have this stream. Now this is a real stream. If you don't have the powder, something's wrong.
Like, you can tell everyone finished much faster than me because they were going through and finishing dungeons and not finishing dungeons rather, and I'm just like, all right, I'm clearly missing something. Like, I don't even know how long it took me for my tracker to just nothing was made except for Zora. And I told myself I'm going to be so mad if it's the mirror or the hook shot.
Yeah, and it was really sad because the hook shot was behind the mirror, of course. There was no way to get to that without the mirror, so
I nearly considered throwing my controller at one of my monitors when I saw the mirror.
Something tells me that would be a little bit counterproductive.
I don't know.
All right, so what do you think of Triforce Hunt in general?
Triforce Hunt is actually my favorite mode.
Oh,
I
really?
consider it the best. I consider it the mode I have the best general time with, except in cases like this where that was clearly a plando and I don't know what Willard was thinking.
This was not a plando. Don't get onto Willard.
Look,
but yeah, I like Triforce Hunt as a pretty sort of chill way of doing things a lot. I find it to be a little less stressful on the brain.
I don't have a lot of opens or standards, working full time and all that. A lot of times I'm working 3 to 11. I miss the dailies. So Triforce for me became the mode I could just grab, go, and I'll be done in an hour and a half, compared to open and standard where I've spent 5 hours finishing a race in SRL.
So I just noticed a comment in the SRL chat saying that the way they got money was by doing the shooting gallery game, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
If you're really good at that, you can, if I'm not mistaken, pull in like 124 rupees per go.
But you've got to bullseye every target every time.
That is true.
Do that.
Alright, so real talk. There's a shooting gallery minigame in?
There is. It's right next to the
library.
digging game.
I never play
In the Dark
Entrance
World.
Randomizer, otherwise I would probably know that.
Yeah, in the Dark World, in the digging game, or next to the digging game, there is a shop with an arrow on it, and that's the archery game. The rules are every target you hit gets you a certain number of rupees. The first one is 4, and it doubles for every target you hit in a row after that. And I think you pay 20 to play. So if you're really good, you can make money off of that, but it's not easy.
Especially when we barely had money to start with in this seed.
Absolutely. So,
Ow.
with that, I think we need to probably wrap things up here. Anything else you wanted to say before we signed off?
I'm just trying to fast forward here and see my collection right, because I want to see how I did compared to the rest of them.
I still think your face for sale is the most hilarious thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, with Zora in the mirror. Yeah.
That's actually a better collection rate than I thought I'd have. It really felt like at a certain point I was gonna end up at like 175 or 180 items. Like if
146. Yeah, that is lower than I expected given the number of items on your tracker.
I don't get this game sometimes. Like it feels like looking at my own personal tracker I was using, like I cleared so much more.
All right. So I want to thank our runners once again, Roach788, Chloe Prower, Spy Poet, and Virtual Cat for putting on a great show today. I want to thank our trackers. We had Storm and Sin.
Yeah, Sindoris and Storm Tenchanko were our trackers today.
And of course, I want to thank my co-commentator Frico for putting up with my shenanigans.
Here you stole my line. I figured I had to thank you for having to put up with me for 2 hours.
And of course, if you enjoyed what you saw here today, the best way to help those out involved is to give them a follow here on Twitch, and I'm sure everybody here would appreciate that. And of course, make sure to follow all of our speed gaming channels for tons of Link to the Past randomizer action, as well as other impressive video game speedrunning content. So with that, it's about time to wrap it up. So I will just say that I have been Dr. Bobtastic.
I am Preco.
And we'll see you later.
Have a good night.